Black Mirror Night by David Adam Teacher. Ingu Lauscher, Ki Jawadawaishin, David IOM. Once there was a king in a land far away. One day a black knight arrived in his kingdom and began fighting the king's knights. One by one, the black knight killed all the knights. The king had to flee in search of a knight who could defeat the black knight. The black knight chased after the king. "I'm off." The king arrived at the home of the Red Knight. He burst through the door and shouted, "Brave Red Knight, there is a black knight chasing me, please." Before the king could finish his sentence, the Red Knight jumped up and ran outside to fight the Black Knight. The Red Knight fought well and eventually cut the Black Knight's head off. The Black Knight fell down dead. But just as the Red Knight turned back to go tell the king, his head also fell off and he fell to the ground dead. As soon as the Red Knight's body hit the ground, the Red Knight transformed into the Black Knight, stood up and continued to chase the king. The king rode on to the next knight's home. This was the house of the Green Knight. The king rushed into the house and shouted, "Brave knight, the monstrous Black Knight is chasing me. He is strong and dangerous and—" But before the king could finish his sentence, the Green Knight jumped up and ran outside to fight the Black Knight. The two knights fought a long battle. Eventually the Green Knight's sword cut the Black Knight's body clean in half. The Black Knight fell to the ground dead. The Green Knight turned to tell the king, but as soon as he took one step, his body also cut in half and fell to the ground dead. As his body hit the floor, it transformed into the Black Knight, who got up and continued to chase the king. The king rode away as fast as he could to the home of the White Knight. "Brave White Knight, I'm being chased by a monstrous Black Knight. He is strong and dangerous, and whatever you do to him will happen to you." Listening to the king's words, the White Knight quickly climbed up a high wall with the king. When the Black Knight arrived, they did not fight it. They sat and waited. The Black Knight couldn't reach them. He swung his sword and shouted at them, but the White Knight did nothing. He just waited. After a few hours, the monstrous Black Knight had tired itself out and transformed into a golden little mouse. The king and the White Knight came down from the high wall, picked up the mouse and put it in a cage.